2007 NFL season, former Denver Broncos head coach Mike Shanahan developed a strategy to throw opposing kickers off during crucial field goal attempts. From the sidelines, Shanahan would call timeout right before the ball was snapped, and by doing this, the kicking team would not know the field goal attempt wouldn't count until after, and the play would have to be redone. Arizona kicker Casey Scowron got the worst of this Saturday as he was iced not once, but twice, making the first attempt and missing the second on both. With under 10 seconds left in the fourth quarter, 3 points were all the Wildcats needed, but Scowron's consistency from the previous games in the season were not there. And so, USC prevailed to a 28-26 win at Arizona Stadium. The loss dropped the Cats 6 spots down in the AP poll to number 16. The good news for UA fans, that's 1 spot ahead of Arizona State. So Jake, when you look back at some of the close losses since Rich Rodriguez took over this program in 2012, what is, or where does this rank in terms of the heartbreaking losses in the Rich Rodriguez era?
Well, I would definitely have to put it at first, and that's for multiple reasons. Is because at the end of the game, it seemed like they had momentum. They were coming back. You had the big plays from Caleb Jones, including the onside recovery, and even he made some field goals, and the only ones he missed, one was blocked, and like you said, called the timeout, iced him successfully. So I would definitely put this first, but I think the bigger thing is it's like the football gods are getting Rich Rod back. You had the beatdown on Oregon. You beat him up in Oregon this year, and the 21-point comeback against Nevada in the New Mexico Bowl. So I think that's a way to look at it as well.
Yeah, I would have to agree that this loss was definitely ranked as one of the worst ones in Arizona because we have not been ranked this high, and our football program has not looked this good, for years. And I don't know, like maybe it was like playing under the spotlight, and that's why the Wildcats, just did not play so good. But I would definitely say some of it was just also coaching, where we had a lot of our defense wasn't even there the first half of the game, and then the second thing is our offense. Arizona was in the red zone for USC 4 different times during the first half, and they came away with 6 points. So I think that's something to show for offense side too.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty inexcusable. When you go into the red zone that many times, you're going to have to score. So Zoe, before the USC game, Scowron had been a pretty reliable leg for the Wildcats, and Rich Rodriguez had even said in that game against UTSA or San Antonio that they would not have won that game without Scowron. So he has been valuable for this Arizona team, but obviously Saturday it did not work out. Will he ever be the same as he was before Saturday night?
Well, I think that every kicker, can miss a field goal or two, but regardless if it was a field goal to win a 36-yard field goal to win the game, he flopped. He pulled a whole LeBron James flop on the field, and I don't know, that is pretty just not even embarrassing, but if you're gonna miss that, miss it. Don't make it a whole big shebang about everything else. So I don't know. He might not be the same, but definitely kind of embarrassing for him. It's kind of a hit,
Jake, what are your thoughts?
Physically, we know he's able to do it. Mentally, I believe he's going to bounce back. He has the support of his team. I even saw on Twitter, TJ McConnell was tweeting about him, saying that everyone's scumbags for tweeting bad things at him, all things of that sort. And he's still a 72% field goal kicker, just even including that game. So I still think he has a lot to build up on, and he doesn't have that much experience. I think he's going to end up being okay.
Yeah, and there was a lot of nasty conversation about him on Twitter, some really bad things, and even death threats.
From students.
From his own peers, and even from, as we talked about, some people that work for Arizona Athletics as well.
That's going to be
interesting. It's just bad sportsmanship, Like, he's never done anything wrong, and even if he does, like, he's your kicker. He's your school's kicker, and he's not half the reason, but he's a big part of the reason that that Arizona was ranked at number 10. So, I don't know. Sore losers, for that part.
Well, 4 years ago, Arizona began the season in a very similar way, a 7-1 record overall, and they did reach the top 10 just like this season. But the thing was, they lost the last 5 games, including the bowl game that they played in, to Oklahoma State, and it wasn't close either. Will that season of 2010 repeat itself in 2014?
I don't think that's going to happen. At this point, Rich Rod, he's built a foundation. The team they've come together. You have receivers like Caleb Jones, obviously, Aaron Hill. even Griffey. And you have to also consider the game's injuries. Nick Wilson wasn't there. So Jones-Grisby, he had a hard time carrying the load on his own. I think they're going to make adjustments on the defense. They're going to be fine.
Yeah, I would say the game against USC, it was not like definitely an issue with getting the ball. It was just scoring. Like I said earlier, they were
finishing.
Yeah, finishing. Like they were in the red zone so many times and just could not capitalize on it. And so we're there. We're literally almost there. Like we're at the 1 yard line one time and still couldn't score. But I think it was just a rough game for Arizona. And also, I think they have a bye week this week, so I think they'll come back at Washington State ready to play and ready to win.
Well, you guys talk about how they weren't able to capitalize on those red zone chances, and Nick Wilson banged up, then Terrace Jones-Grigsby as well, and then Jared Baker had to carry the load for the majority of the second half, and he's the third-string running back, so that definitely hampered Arizona. Well, the Cats will get this week off, and then will face Washington State and Pullman on the 25th. The focus shifts to Wildcat hoops after the break. Catch our exclusive interviews with Stanley Johnson, Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, and Craig Victor. All this and much more coming up on Channel 3 Sports.
I'm Derek Williams, the former U of A Wildcat. You're watching UATV. Don't change the channel.
Hi, it's David Hasselhoff, the Hawk. Get Hawk with UATV. Stay tuned. Don't change the dial.
Well, wait no longer, my fellow U of A students. At U of A, we now sponsor Tap & Go. Tap & Go is a mobile solution for avoiding all these lines. Tap & Go will start to prepare your food as soon as you submit your order and text you as soon as it's ready. And guess what? Tap & Go also works with delivery. Just tell Tap & Go where you are and he'll bring it right to you. So what are you waiting for? Just sign up with Tap & Go and you'll never have to worry about lines ever again. Make a new best friends today.
Welcome back to Channel 3 Sports. I'm Joey Putrelo. It's been a long wait since a disappointing end in the NCAA basketball tournament, and Arizona basketball returns to action Saturday with the annual Red vs. Blue game. Tip-off is scheduled for 3 p.m. and will feature the entire Wildcats roster split into two. We'll have more on the Red vs. Blue game later, but first, we'll hear from Rondae Hollis-Jefferson. As a freshman last season, he was utilized mainly as the sixth man until Brandon Ashley went down for the season. Hollis-Jefferson averaged 9 points and nearly 6 rebounds per game last year and decided to stay at Arizona an extra year. Zoe talked with Hollis-Jefferson at Media Day and even learned his famous shimmy.
How do you feel that the teams had chemistry and grown together so far, even though you haven't even started practice and that starts Sunday?
I would say we made a lot of progress, since the first time we all stepped foot in the gym at the same time till this day. I would say we made a lot of progress. We got better as a team. We're kind of bonding more, and it'll translate more and more, as the year goes on. That's all we want.
All right, last thing. Can you show us a little shimmy? The infamous Rondae shimmy. Come on. Thank you.
New Orleans native Craig Victor verbally committed to Arizona's basketball program in August 2013, turning down Kansas, LSU, and Oklahoma State. He was rated the number 5 power forward prospect in the country and the best his home state of Louisiana had to offer. At Media Day, UATV Channel 3 sports reporter Justin Spears got a chance to introduce Victor to the Wildcat faithful.
First things first, why did you choose Arizona over your home school at LSU?
I would just say the competition level, being competitive, being seen, winning games, all that play a role in just being successful in college basketball. And I just didn't want to be a player that, average double figures and team go unheard of. So I just looked at Arizona, I seen the players we had. We had Brandon coming back, so I was like, that's a good person to learn from. So I just honor the process and follow his lead.
Now, you mentioned Brandon being a mentor to you. What has he taught you so far since you're coming into your first year here?
Basically to just take my time. The game moves at a faster pace, so it's basically just taking what I know and mix it in what Coach Miller wants us to do and just take my time, basically.
Now, what has Coach Miller's winning attitude and what has he brought to you that you can contribute to this team? What has he taught you so far?
Just working hard. Like I said, honor the process, take it one day at a time because people get caught up into, worrying about who's going to start or how many minutes I'm going to play. So we just take it one day at a time, try to get better every day and just go from there.
An accomplished player at the high school and international levels, small forward Stanley Johnson was offered scholarships from Arizona, Oregon, USC, Kentucky, and last season's national runner-up team, Florida. Among all the enticing offers, the five-star recruit visited Tucson first and ultimately chose to join Sean Miller's 2014 campaign for a championship. Johnson and I talked about his transition to Arizona at Media Day.
So Stanley, with you being a freshman, your first year at U of A, what's the adjustment been like to campus life and school and everything like that?
Just walking everywhere and getting to class on time all the time. It's like, like in high school, you're just there, so you just go to class, whatever, but I walk from my house all the way through campus, and being on time for stuff is hard.
Have you stayed on top of school and been to class on time for the most part?
Yeah, because there's this thing called like a Stairmaster, and you do a Stairmaster for an hour if you're late. So I did one of those so far, and hopefully I can never get another one.
That's the punishment if you're late to class? You do a Stairmaster?
That's the punishment, Stairmaster for an hour. Coach Rounds makes us do it. It's the awesomest thing ever because after you do it one time, you're probably not going to do it again because you realize I spent that last 5 minutes to class, I'll never have to do a Stairmaster. So.
What happens if you misspell a word in an essay?
Usually Sam just fixes it for you, and you go to Sam. Sam's our little like academic advisor, so you go up there, send your essay to her. She'll go over with you, she'll misspell it, and you're good.
How's it been with, well, you're going to have a practice schedule now, so that might make it a little bit tougher with academics. How have you prepared to balance that all?
Well, practice is around, like they make the school schedule and the practice schedule like they think of it before that happens. So I think practice is at like 3:30 every day, and my classes are like 11 and 12. So I'll be done way before classes, where I have to be there.
You have a tutor?
Yeah, we have an academic advisor. Her name is Sam, and she tutors all of us. And then we have and then if we need extra tutoring, she hires the other guy to come tutor us as well. So she's really good.
And as for basketball, how has the team embraced you so far as a five-star recruit? But you are still a new guy, so have you had to prove yourself in any way?
Obviously, every time you go to a new team, you have to earn your respect, earn your stripes, and that's the way I wanted it when I came here. I didn't want anything given to me. But at the same time, a lot of guys here I played with before. A lot of guys here, they know me, I know them. So there's really not much respect I had to get. It was just kind of just getting here and getting used to honoring the process and getting used to just the things they do here.
Well, Jake, Coach Miller said that he wants to split these red versus blue teams up evenly. He does every year because that's, I guess, the best way to assess the talent and how they all match up with each other. So put yourself in Coach Miller's shoes for a second. How would you arrange these teams?
Well, it is the red versus blue game, so I do want to have a little fun with it. So to start, at point guard, TJ McConnell. He's the senior, knows the system, experienced. But at shooting guard, I want to see Parker Jackson Cartwright. He's 5'10". He's a point guard from Los Angeles, California, and he's the number 5 recruit. And then at the 3, Stanley Johnson, number 3 overall prospect, number 1 out of California from modern day. And then at the 4, I want to see Rondae Hollis-Jefferson. Last year, freshman, new to the team, but now he's seen as a leader. I want to see what he can do, mentor the younger guys. And then Brandon Ashley, because when he's Brandon Ashley, he's coming off the injury. I want to see how he's rehabilitated and just see his impact on the team.
Yeah, I'd say definitely TJ McConnell at point, but I think that they're going to either switch it up kind of with a bigger lineup and have Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, Brandon Ashley, Caleb Tarczewski, and Stanley Johnson. And I think Caleb Tarczewski, you left him out, but I think they're definitely going to showcase him maybe over Brandon Ashley because Sean Miller said in a press conference that Zeus, that's as they call them, has been working really hard this summer on bulking up, getting bigger touches, having just more power down near the net. So I think they're really going to try and hone in on that because that's just kind of one of the things that Arizona last year needed more improvement on, was having more people and more strength down below.
Well, Jake, I think it's interesting about your team because you have Parker Jackson Cartwright and TJ McConnell both in the starting lineup together on the same team. I think if they were going to do that, then Parker Jackson Cartwright would be on the other team opposed to TJ McConnell, because he is probably going to be the future point guard. So that would be interesting to see those two battle it out together as the opposing point guards. Well, the Red-Blue game also features a dunk contest beforehand. In the past 2 years, it was dominated by former Wildcat Nick Johnson. Johnson was drafted to the Houston Rockets in the second round of the NBA draft over the summer. So this season, a new champion will be crowned. Who's going to win, Zoe?
I'm going to put my money on Stanley Johnson all the way. Anyone that's watched his highlight reels has just seen his unreal dunks. He's kind of similar to Aaron Gordon, but he's a bigger body. He's just a lot. He's a big man, and he has a lot of air for how big he is. So I think it's going to be great to see him. And we lost Nick, so it's kind of up in the air. I mean, we know it's not that hard for Zeus to just tip it in, but.
He's 6'7", 245 pounds, and watching his videos from high school is pretty unreal, so I'm going to put my money on him as well.
You know, I think the dark horse in this competition, though, could be Rondae, because I've seen him pull out some nasty dunks, too. Caleb Tarczewski probably has the most powerful dunks, but maybe not the flashiest.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right, well.
Aaron Gordon didn't win last year. He didn't win last year?
No, it was Nick Johnson.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, with Sean Miller bringing in the 6th best recruiting class of the season, which Wildcat freshman is going to stand out to you most, not named Stanley Johnson?
I'm going to have to go with Dusan Ristic, the 7-footer from Serbia. He's a big man, gives presence down low. It's only Tarczewski and Ashley really right now who are down there, so I think it's going to be an advantage to them, change the game plan, get it more down low to those guys, take some pressure off the guards, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Kadeem Allen. He's a big powerhouse for not down low, but definitely like in the offense area, because last year Arizona, we made it for the way we did for our defense. You know, we were a big defense team, one of the top ones in the country, and on offense, we always struggled when it was a set play. Like, we were great on transition, that was awesome, but Arizona really struggled when it was, you know, trying to pass it, trying to work out the plays. And Kadeem Allen, from what I've seen and what I've heard, he is a great transfer, and he averaged actually 25 points last year every game. So I think it's someone we need and someone that can bring a lot of depth into our team.
Well, once again, the annual Arizona Red versus Blue contest will tip off at 3 p.m. The game sold out quickly, so if you haven't bought a ticket yet, you can watch it on the Pac-12 networks. When we come back, the head coach of Arizona Rugby, Sean Duffy, joins the program, so don't change the channel. You are watching Channel 3 Sports on UATV.
I'm Derek Williams, the former U of A Wildcat. You're watching UATV. Don't change the channel.
All right, David Hasselhoff, the Hawk. Get Hawk with UATV. Stay tuned. Don't change the dial.
Well, wait no longer, my fellow U of A students. At U of A, we now sponsor Tap & Go. Tap & Go is a mobile solution for avoiding all these lines. Tap & Go will start to prepare your food as soon as you submit your order and text you as soon as it's ready. And guess what? Tap & Go also works with delivery. Just tell Tap & Go where you are and he'll bring it right to you. So what are you waiting for? Just sign up with Tap & Go and you'll never have to worry about lines ever again. Make a new best friends today.
For a first-year head coach of any team, of all levels, of whatever sport, putting together a championship-caliber team is no easy task. For a Division II Wildcat rugby program, a then brand-new head coach, Sean Duffy, already had his hands full. Forget getting focused for the season. He had to rally his squad through the passing of former head coach Dave Sitton. Many have tried, but few have shared the immediate success Duffy has had in his first year at Arizona. Last season, he led them all the way to the finals of the Division II National Championship with skill, toughness, chemistry, and maybe a little extra help from a higher place. Now we're lucky enough to be joined by the man himself, Sean Duffy, the head coach of Arizona Rugby. Sean, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
So, last year was your first year as a head coach of the team, and you guys went all the way to the national championship of the Division II level. Can you just kind of walk us through the season?
Well, it was exciting. You know, Division I AA rugby, it's a good level. We're playing good name teams. Stanford University at Stanford University. It was a big win getting into the Final Four, the best finish in program history. We're just doing it for all the people that have come before us. We wore the WDS on our sleeve for Dave Sitton, who'd passed away that year. It was a very emotional thing to be a part of that, and it's something our guys always remember. It's really laid down the foundation for this year. We've been promoted, so it was a miracle run, and we hope we can have some more success this year.
Well, you're off to a great start already in the preseason friendly matches. You blow out ASU 38-10, and then you blow out New Mexico 46-19. So how does the team look so far this year, and how's the chemistry been? Obviously, it looks good so far.
It's been looking good. There's always some things I can nitpick if we had 4 hours, right? But it's a good young team. We brought in 21 walk-ons. 21 recruits and 20 walk-ons from all over the world, and they've meshed really well with our returners. So to have that group that we have going on now, we played New Mexico past weekend with mostly freshmen and sophomores. And to have success like that, it's really laying a nice base for what we're going to have in the spring and January. So we're just about development right now, playing 15s and 7s. But 2 wins is always good, especially when you play against ASU and beat them. So that's always a good start.
Now, can you explain the 2 teams that U of A has here, the 15s and the 17s, for people that don't really know that much about rugby and don't know what the 15s and the 7s mean? Can you kind of just explain that?
So 15s is the more traditional format, 15 aside. That's the format that they play in the World Cup. 7s is the Olympic format. It's going to join the Olympics in 2016. We play both. 7s season starts in the fall and really culminates with the CRC in June on national television in Philadelphia, while 15s is really played in the fall as well as spring. So spring will be pretty much focused on 15s, and 7s kind of runs around that. So same pool of players, guys are doing both. 7s requires a lot more fitness, but they both require a good deal of fitness. So it's a pretty athletic group, and we hope to have success in both.
Now, you said Grand Canyon's coming up. That is the last preseason match, the friendly match for you guys. What are you hoping to get out of that matchup as you go in to progress to the regular season?
Well, this will be the family all back together. 7s will be over for the fall, so we're going to have the whole group together. We're playing Grand Canyon at home on a Friday night, the first night game at Sitton Field. The head coach and the coaching staff for Grand Canyon are all U of A rugby alumni, so that's going to be very exciting. And they're a brand new program in Arizona, so really it's going to be exciting. It's our first real home game on our main field, and really it's about development, but to have everyone back together, this is going to be kind of the final dress rehearsal for January, so it's going to be exciting.
How did you work that matchup out with a program that's brand spanking new to come to Tucson?
Well, they want to play, and they brought in a lot of players. They're really getting good support behind the program, and I know the coach as well, so we have series that we set up. We're going to go there next year, but to have them really kind of help welcome them into the rugby family, we're going to be, excited to have them as a part of it. Obviously, we want to beat them, but, it's really good to have another team in state, so to have ASU, us, and Grand Canyon, it's going to be a good rivalry for years to come among all 3 of us.
Now, you haven't named a captain yet for the 7s or the 15 squad. What are you looking for exactly in your captain? Maybe it differs for both teams.
Well, I'm looking for a guy that can wear a pink tie, so maybe you might apply for a captain. That might work.
I don't know if I'm the size. I don't know if I fit the part. But if you need a play-by-play.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's we've got some really good returners. We've got some guys that have shown really good leadership, and really, I think leadership is contagious. We have our leadership council that does a lot of good things with the program, and we have young guys that are freshmen that are being the leaders of that class. So really, we're going to make them sweat a bit, but we're really seeing some good growth in our guys as they become leaders and become men in the program. So we're going to make them sweat, and we're probably going to name a captain in the next few months here.
And you were telling me before this interview, you went to Argentina over the summer to do some more rugby work there. Can you talk about that experience and how it's going to help you as you come back to Tucson, Arizona?
So I was the manager for the High School All-Americans program. We went to Argentina this year on our tour, played in the Four Nations tournament against Argentina, Italy, Uruguay, and finished 3rd in that tournament. But it was a great experience coaching with some great people, and really being around the international game is always a great experience. You can bring a lot back to Tucson. So, it's a really great experience to have that, and it's an honor to represent your country. So when I get to do that, it's a privilege, and then there's a lot of things I can pick up when it comes to on-field and off-field that I can bring to Tucson and make our program better.
And a way that you made the program better off the field, maybe getting the word out better, and that's through that new website that you made yourself, ArizonaRugby.org. what's your background in computers and tech? Because I had no idea that you had the capability to make a website.
It's not as much a background in computers, it's more just stubbornness, I think, because I really, working with webmasters in the past, I like to be able to update and have the interactivity myself and update content at 2 a.m., get a press release out. So really more just me wanting to have full control over it and taking some time. You know, the website we had in the past was great, but really we want to have this new website be interactive, be fan-friendly, really show our history of the program, our alumni, our current alumni that are playing professionally, you know, our prospective players that want to be a part of the program. So it's been a huge boost for us. You know, the university's really embraced it as well and supporting us. So the website, it's my baby. It's gonna evolve over the years, I'm sure. It's not perfect, but I think it's a good start.
Well, you're going to open up the season January 24th at Santa Clara. So after this last preseason match you have against Grand Canyon, you're going to have a little bit of time in between there to prepare. So how are you going to use that time?
So really, you know, we're going to give the guys some time to focus on academics first and then really get into our strength and conditioning over the winter. You know, with us being in this nice weather, I'm an East Coast guy, so I'm still getting used to it, but we can really get outside whenever we want. So we can take the time to work with different position groups, break down film, do some things. But really, it's strength conditioning focus until we get to January. We'll have the guys back before classes start up, and we'll hit the ground running pretty hard. So I'm looking forward to getting winter break. We'll give the guys the holidays off, obviously, but that's a nice time to get their bodies fit, get them stronger, get them faster, get them fitter, and we're looking to do some good things in January.
Coach, thanks again for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, Jake and Zoe are with us when we come back to play a game of 30 seconds to cap off this show. It's Channel 3 Sports on UATV.
Arizona's women's volleyball hosted the top-ranked Stanford Cardinals on Friday and hopes to pull off the upset. The McHale Center was filled with fans from all ages supporting their Wildcats, but their presence wasn't enough to help Arizona take down the Cardinals. After dropping the first set 25-23, Arizona won the second in dramatic fashion. They were able to gain a lot of momentum towards the end of the set that led to a 26-24 victory, but the 12th-ranked Cats weren't able to capitalize on it in the last two sets. The Cardinals won the third and fourth each 25-20. The Wildcats had 21 attack errors compared to the Cardinals' 12. Overall, the statistics were pretty even. Stanford had 72 kills to Arizona's 64 and 68 set assists to the Cats' 57, and each team had 7 blocks. The Wildcats look to bounce back from this loss this weekend when they host 2 other Pac-12 opponents. They will face off against the Washington State Cougars Friday at 6 p.m., who are coming off of a 3-1 loss to the Oregon State Beavers. The 6th-ranked Washington Huskies also come into town to play the Wildcats on Sunday at 3 p.m. Reporting for UATV, I'm Jake Cavanah.
Well, it's been fun, but we gotta run. It's time to cap the show off with 30 seconds. In this game, the analysts and I have half a minute to voice any topic we want in sports. Jake, why don't you start us off?
Well, I'm going to talk a little NFL right now and talk about the NFC East, or as analysts have been referring to as the NFC Least. Right now they have 14 wins, and that is the most out of any division in football. DeMarco Murray leads the league in rushing, LaShawn McCoy is 4th in the league, and Foles is 5th in the league with passing yards. Kirk Cousins, the Washington backup QB, is even 5th in overall yards. Now, these are high numbers for a division that was supposed to be awful this year. And they only have the 2 5-1 teams in the league.
Yeah, and I think that that win for Dallas was huge in Seattle.
In Seattle,
that is where winning streaks go to die, and they came through with that win.
Russell Wilson's like 3rd or 4th home loss in his career, maybe if that.
Yeah, so maybe from the NFC least to the NFC beast.
Yep, beat me to it.
All right, Zoe, go ahead.
All right, so I'm going to talk a little about Jameis Winston, as if he's not always in the headlines of any sports controversy. This time, he has sold his autographs, and this was for $8 a ball, which, you know, he could have just waited a little bit longer, and that money legally could have been $250,000 maybe a ball. And I don't know, I just don't really get. You can't wait a little longer, and obviously you're going to be caught. You won the Heisman last year, so I don't know.
Yeah,
he's always doing something.
It's crazy. I don't understand why these guys keep doing it, and you're going to get caught. There's really no way to escape it.
You won the Heisman last year. You're in the spotlight.
He's only 20. He can be patient.
Yeah, there's no chance. He's about to go in the top 5 of the NFL draft. Maybe not even anymore, just because of how much he keeps screwing up.
But like we said, he's untouchable on the field, but then when it gets to off the field, he doesn't realize he's still not untouchable, and the law will kick his little butt. So, I don't know. That guy is something.
He is. That's a pretty good way to describe it. I guess I'll finish things off. Well, an era ended officially in. Oh yeah. Okay. All right, ready? In 3, 2, 1. All right, well, I'll finish us off. Not only did a hero of American soccer close his career out, something historic in America closed his career out. Landon Donovan, he will be sorely missed by U.S. soccer. He's retiring at age 32, which I think is way too early. I still think he should have made that U.S. Cup, World Cup roster, and I still kind of resent Klinsmann for it today, even though he did take the team deeper than anybody thought. But still, Landon Donovan, he is my childhood. He is the reason that I got interested in soccer growing up, so I salute you, Captain America. All right, well, a cordial thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week with another exciting episode. For Jake Cavanah and Zoe Wolkowitz, I'm Joey Putrelo. This is Channel 3 Sports on UATV.